What up, though, y'all? How y'all living? Now I know a lot of y'all interested. I was interested too in with the whole beef between Charleston White and Boosie is. Well, I know how it started on the what was going back and forth on the internet, but like, what's his underlying issue with this guy? Now, I thought last time I seen Charleston with a fade, it looked a little fake. Now I'm sure it was fake. Now he on that celebrity whatnot. He done sold out a little bit. Are you selling out or you buying in? Let's see what he talking about here. Let's check it out. See if we can give a little research.
Boosie just pled guilty and he's facing up to 15.
God answered my prayers.
Why?
Because I prayed for him to be found guilty. Y'all don't remember? Remember? I prayed.
No, I remember.
I prayed. Because homie, listen. Let me get serious for a minute.
Why you pray for this man to go to jail?
Let me get serious for a minute. I love Boosie music. I love Boosie as an artist, but as an individual, as a person, I don't like Torrance Hatch. Torrance Hatch is disrespectful toward his mother. Torrance Hatch say, I don't talk to the police, I don't call the police, but he called.
Yo, did Charleston White just admit that Boosie's the only character he like and hate the person?
Called the police on his brother for stealing that $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
Went all the way through the court process, pressing charges. Come on, Boosie, there go your exception. I don't want to kill your brother. Okay, whatever rule you use, whatever reason you're using, you call the police, you press charges, right? And
that street code, depending on how you standing on it, it do get a little hard to stick to, depending on how you standing on it. I mean, it's a little hard to stick to, period. But if you standing on it the wrong way, boy, it's gonna be impossible.
Man, Boosie got a kid that's serving that's gonna die in prison, named Marlo Mike. And I want the world to Google Marlo Mike or look at the Marlo Mike story. Marlo Mike is y'all Woody, who y'all love so much, who mama died on. This kid is battle mental illness, so he's a little slower than Woody. He was subjected to violence and murder and death at a very early age. So grew up in a violent environment, like the dogs Michael Vick bred to fight and kill. He didn't come from love. He wasn't good in school. And so he grew up in Baton Rouge, another violent environment. So he come from a violent home, violent neighborhood, violent environment, and then get in touch with Boosie. And Boosie fund 9 murders for this kid. Now, a lot of people say, oh, he was already killing before Boosie. Okay, so what? Why not take him and bring him in for him not to kill?
I mean, he make a good point. I don't know what to say about this. Being in the position to be a button pusher, I never push buttons. The times it was things that needed to happen around me, I either acted upon them myself or a senior member of my circle acted upon them himself when it started to arise. But going to send somebody for something has never been what I do. And some of these young Thundercats that don't have nothing else to offer, but they need something, they'll offer their whole self. And taking hats be a part of that offer. And all they want to do is just not be hurt no more, not be po no more, or not be here. That's it. And taking advantage of that in that way is some of the foulest shit you can do today. That's a fact.
Because he look up to you. Who next, Boosie? We ain't killing no more. And niggas, what I want you to do. I'm gonna show you how to get your security license. You're gonna be my security guy. I'm gonna go get your gun license. I'm gonna put you in the military. We'll go learn.
And the thing about that is that's the difference between a leader and a boss. You know, Boosie, the way he presents himself, he's a boss. I mean, you're telling people what to do, you paying people, you getting stuff done through people or whatever. But a leader gonna show you how to do it. A leader gonna make sure you doing it a better way. A leader gonna lead you in a manner of which to be your own leader or your own boss, depending on how you want to take that information. And that's the difference between a leader and a boss. I would see Boosie as more as a boss, than a leader.
So if he was already killing for Boosie, okay, that's cool. When Boosie fund 9 murders just with him alone. They both get charged for 5 murders. This kid didn't get caught. They already had caught Boosie. They caught both of them. This kid just so happened to confess, but at first he wasn't confessing. Right. At first he was staying down. It's only so much sleep a 15-year-old kid can get after killing 9, 10, 11 people.
I mean, it's only so much sleep anybody could get after putting in that much work. But I was listening to this, and then it made me go want to Google the Marlo Mike story. So we got the Marlo Mike story over here, and we are going to check that out to get a little more background information on this, because clearly Charleston is, he's obviously affected by this whole situation, and you can see he clearly about to get emotional. Clearly about to get emotional. But anyway, y'all check this out.
Marlo Mike. Marlo Mike was 15 years old at this time, and he was from the Uptown neighborhood in Baton Rouge. Marlo was close friends with the local rapper who went by Lil Fat. Lil Fat also happens to be the son of Mel, who is one of the owners of Trill ENT. According to court documents, word was spread around the streets that Boosie had $25K on Nussie's head, and after hearing this, Marlo would have Lil Fat bring him to Boosie's house. Boosie wasn't present at the house at the time, but Marlo would meet up with one of Boosie's little guys named Michael Judson, who went by the nickname Ghost. On February 9, 2009, Marlo and Ghost will begin sliding around the area Nussie is known to be at, and they would eventually spot him at the gas station and follow him home. The duo will go on to shoot Nussie, real name Chris Jackson, through the window of his house, killing.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, this ain't a good picture of Nussie, but Nussie got Boosie beat by about 60 pounds, but then it looked like that murder was orchestrated without Boosie even being there and knowing nothing about somebody being willing to do the hit. And then clearly he ain't need Marlo Mike if one of Boosie homies rolled with him on the hit and put in work on the hit too. But I mean, I don't know.
The man will quickly.
I will say this. Them young niggas got some hella fat hairlines down there. This a 20, 23, 24-year-old man here.
We get away, and news began breaking of Nussie's death throughout the city, and Boosie wanted to meet Marlo and brought him to his house, allegedly only giving him $2,800 instead of the $25K he was expecting. But Marlo was just happy to be around Boosie and was happy to have some money in his pocket. And a few months after this, on April 12, 2009, while Boosie was on house arrest, he
was supposed, and that's another thing, man. When you start dealing with people and you doing crime and they supposed to pay you one thing and they pay you another, that's an immediate red flag sign to get the fuck away from them. Now, they ain't saying nothing about Boosie or this person or that person, but if you doing business and some stuff like that happen, that means it's time for you to get on, for real. And that's all I'm saying.
Through a small party at his house. A man was caught stealing out of Boosie's bedroom, and they would end up beating the man up. The police would show up and would see Boosie standing over the man and would take him to jail on battery charges.
Local rapper Torrance Hatch, better known as Lil Boosie, was arrested today on aggravated second-degree battery charges from a fight they say happened at his house on April the 12th. Sheriff's officials say when Boosie and a few others showed up at the house, there was some sort of a confrontation about the man stealing one of Boosie's necklaces. We're told that's when a fight broke out, fist, and possibly even a
But look, though, people shouldn't steal, but at the same time, you invite people in your house and they see you just got jewelry laying around, it's going to be impossible for them to not try to steal. Just impossible. So in these situations, you're kind of asking for it when you do shit like that.
Police were used in the fight. One man was taken to the hospital with non-threatening injuries.
The man they beat up went by the name of Marcus Thomas. Just 13 days later, on April 25th, Marlo and Ghost were sitting outside of Marcus's house. And when Marcus pulled up to his house, the duo would pull up right next to his car and begin opening fire into Marcus's car, killing him. Marlo quickly developed a reputation in the streets and became a known killer and was barely getting paid for it, which is crazy to think about. Boosie also has a daughter named Toriana, which he...
This the crazy thing about that. Boosie be talking about all this stepping in the songs, but you had somebody else doing the hits and they ain't even get paid properly for them. That's crazy. That's real crazy.
Yes, seen going back and forth with that they don't have a good relationship to this day.
I'm taking out my wheel in the phone. You come and drive up. I'm a black fucking eye when I see you. What you going to show hands on my eye?
His child's mother is a woman named Rochelle Wagner.
Man, that's all crazy. All crazy.
Rochelle had an older stepbrother who was known for getting loud in the streets, and he had beat multiple murder charges. His name is Terry Boyd. In the summer of 2009, Terry was finishing up a prison sentence in Angola. One of Boosie's friends was also locked up in Angola at the time and would overhear Terry talking crazy about Boosie. And Terry was later released on September 30th, 2009. But right before Terry was released, Boosie would drop his highly anticipated album on September 15th titled Super Bad. This album included many classic Boosie songs, including Mind of a Maniac, and Better Believe It. Turk and Mill also put Mill's son Lil Fat on one of the songs Behind Boosie's Back, and this created some tension between Boosie, Lil Fat, and Turk and Mill. And once he was released, the threats Terry Boyd allegedly made towards Boosie would end up being a huge mistake, as on
But what they got to do with Lil Fat? Or did I lose something?
October 21st, 2009, Marlo and Ghost will be given the location to Terry's crib and shoot and kill him through his window, just as they had did before. And this was a crazy move by Boosie, as Terry was still his daughter's uncle at the end of the day.
He beat 5 murder charges.
But he wasn't technically her brother. He was like her god brother or something like that, but still a messed up situation.
He was a known robber in this city. He beat his mama with a 2x4. He been shot 29 times on 6 different occasions.
Marlo would again receive just under
Boosie saying he
$3,000
had
for this,
to.
but he was satisfied with that. And shortly after this murder, he would get a tattoo on his stomach that said, "Yo, Boosie, who next?"
So apparently Mike has a tattoo that says, "Yo, Boosie, who next?"
Yeah. Around the same time, on November 9, 2009, Boosie would release a song called Boss Man. This song is crazy when it told the backstory, as Boosie begins the song saying, "Them niggas did that for the boss man," and the chorus says, "Boosie, I got you." Surprisingly, Ghost and Marlo would appear on this song as well.
But that's crazy though, because you ain't really getting paid, or is he piecing you off here and there? But then this is why as a boss myself, gotta be careful when you dealing with motherfuckers. They got scum suckers around them. You know what I'm saying? A Marlo Mike worked for Juan-o, he'd have been way up. He'd have been way up. And he wouldn't even been doing that many hits. That's crazy.
The top of the new year of 2010, Ghost, real name Michael Judson, will be killed by a masked gunman while celebrating the new year. Nobody would ever be arrested for this, and it's still not known who's responsible for this murder. And just a few months later, on April 1st, Marlo would be back spinning and would allegedly kill a man named Charles Matthews, as well as Daryl Milton, who went by Bleak. He is known to be a close friend of Boosie during his come up, and plenty rumors will begin spreading after this murder, as him and Boosie weren't seeing eye to eye at the time. More rumors will begin spreading that Boosie ordered the hit on the man who was sitting next to Bleak and had no intention on his friend dying, and this will be the downfall of Boosie and Marlo's relationship.
It was like Bleak was set up.
Man, that's crazy. And I didn't hear him rap about Bleak, but if they got proof that Marlo did confess to his murders, though. And that's the crazy thing, because we be building these guys up, and they ain't even about pulling hits or being gangster. It's like, man, if you didn't kill the people around you, what did that say about you?
Like Marlo Mike sprayed the car up, and he knew he was in that car, and that was Boosie boy.
And just a few months later, things will begin to get much worse, as Marlo would get arrested for aggravated assault and terrorizing charges after being involved in a fight. While in jail, Marlo would end up sitting down with detectives and telling them about every murder he committed with precise details, including how much Boosie paid him for each one. And following this, on June 17, 2010, police would raid Boosie's mansion and charge him with first-degree murder.
And that's where it get crazy at, because whether they recant or not, that's a hard lie to tell. You're damn near for sure he was telling the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Killing of Terry Boyd, who again was Boosie's baby mama's brother. Marlo Mike, 17 at the time, would obviously be indicted for this murder as well. And for now, both of the men will go on to fight the charges. And word began spreading that people close to Boosie were on to fight the charges. And word began spreading that people close to Boosie were reaching out to Marlo to convince him not to testify against Boosie.
Baton Rouge Parish Grand Jury has indicted Torrance Hatch, otherwise known as Lil Boosie on first-degree murder charges. Lil Boosie was indicted in the October 21st shooting death of Terry.
Man, that's crazy. And then it's like, what is it worth?
And just 2 years later, in May of 2012, Marlo would do just that and would get on the stand in Boosie's behalf, saying Boosie never told him to do anything and that he lied about his involvement.
He then changed his story and said he did not kill Terry Boyd, and he says Mr. Hatch did not pay him to do so.
Did he take the stand at all?
Well, see, the problem with that be you be then confessed and you be then said things that only the person that did it would know.
He took a stand on me. For me though. He got me indicted, but
What do you mean he got you indicted? Explain.
he got me indicted. He said,
You did it.
yeah.
And then he changed his mind?
Yeah, when it was time for trial, he got on the stand and told the truth.
He was pretty much the main evidence they had against Boosie besides music and rumors. Boosie will be found not guilty at trial, although he still had to stay in prison as he was caught sneaking drugs into jail. And he did receive a hefty 8-year prison sentence for that.
Boosie and a girlfriend, along with a former Dixon Institute guard and inmate, were also indicted on drug charges.
Marlo would later go to trial himself for the Terry Boyd murder the next year in April of 2013, being found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without parole. Marlo Mike is now around 30 years old and recently did a phone interview with Terrence Gangsta Williams.
So let me ask you this.
And that's where things get messed up at. This young man that threw his whole life away trying to get some money for right then, right now. And I'm going to go ahead and keep it a bean pot with you young fellas. It's a whole lot easier just to get a job. You know what I'm saying? The money going to come slower. It's going to take longer, but you going to be here. And that's what matters. Not all this other bullshit that they make you think matter. And let me be honest with you. Somebody that'll send you out on a hit don't give a fuck about you. That's a fact. Now, if you volunteering for it, that means you give a fuck about them. But somebody just send you out there like that all these different times over some shit that ain't even about no money and you don't make no money, they don't give a damn about you.
The kid ultimately confessed, agreed to testify against Boosie. Boosie started putting the money up there, them having the family be killed. This kid retracted, and they know this. So there's no sympathy for Boosie. When I'm a part of a law that y'all keep overlooking, it's called JLY, Juvenile Life Without Parole. I worked on that law. There's an amicus brief that went to the Supreme Court that my name is stamped on this law. We fought to get Marlo Mike out, but they didn't make it retroactive for him.
And there you have it, folks. Not to say Charleston is justified with some of the things he does and he says, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of an understanding of where he's coming from. Whether you agree or not is up to you, but at the same time, some of this shit need to stop. Getting these little boys to handle grown man business just because they don't have no men in their life, that's predatory. That's almost as predatory as picking up on these little girls. As a matter of fact, it may be worse. It may be worse. We out.